Happy Sunday morning to everyone out there. So like I mentioned in my last video, I was gonna kind of take you folks along what I have built to store and transport my Starlink Mini. When I originally bought the Starlink Mini, I bought this 17-inch laptop case off of Amazon. It was 15 bucks and it worked well. It fit it just fine, but as you can see, there's absolutely no protection whatsoever. So I knew there was gonna be a better way, or there had to be a better way to transport my Starlink in the back of my truck, because there's a lot of stuff that goes in there and I didn't want it to get damaged. So I actually had this Pelican 1520 case up in my attic, and I'm repurposing it for the use of this Starlink Mini. I did have to go buy some additional Pelican 1520 foam inserts, pick and pluck foam inserts, and I'll show you why, but it fits perfectly inside this case. Now these cases aren't the cheapest, I'll be the first to admit that, but I've had this case for about 10 years up in the attic, and it was not being used, so now it's gonna be put to good use. But these cases are great. You can roll over them with a tank probably, they're waterproof. Nothing's gonna happen to the Starlink in this case. But we open it up, and let me kind of show you, I'm just gonna walk you through all of the different mounting options that I keep in this and the power options, because there's multiple ways to run these Starlink Minis. Unlike the Gen 2 or Gen 3 bigger Starlinks that require typically AC power to run them. You can convert them to DC with some modifications. And I'm not sponsored by Starlink, I paid for all of this myself, but the Starlink Mini 2 is great for people like me that go out on the weekends that don't want to carry the huge Starlink. And the price will probably drop on the actual hardware of the Starlink Mini 2, but here is the actual dish that I keep. I cut out a piece of foam so it doesn't sit all the way up top, but you can see there's a little recess here that the Mini 2 just sits right in. And this is all it is. This orange thing, let me pull this out to show it to you. I ordered this orange little ring in there from Etsy. This is a 1/4 by 20 threaded hole that you can use to put on any of your tripods. You can put an Arca Swiss quick release tripod plate on this, and you can attach the Starlink Mini 2 to a standard camera tripod, and I have plenty of those that I take with me when I'm out making videos. But this is just simply a little 3D printed circle that goes into this base plate that comes with the Starlink Mini 2. This is the pipe adapter or the pole mount piece that goes onto the Starlink that comes with it. But this little orange piece, again, just came straight from Etsy, and it's just a 3D printed, nothing special circle, essentially, with the brass 1/4 by 20 threaded insert, and it just goes into your actual Starlink Mini 2 plate, and you tighten the screw down. There is a little hole in this orange piece that this screw top screws down into. So I'm gonna be able to use the Starlink Mini 2 with a standard camera tripod if I want to go that route. I'll show you, I've got many more different mounting options, but this just goes right in here, and this can attach to a standard tripod on top once you get the Arca Swiss plate, or however you want to attach it to the ball head on your tripod. So that's going to work out just great. And then underneath, I cut out another little piece of foam, take that out, and this is where I keep all of the power cords and some mounts. So let's go over what I got there. This came with the Starlink. This is your 50-foot 5521 to 5521 DC power cable. I've also got a 5521 to USB Type-C power cable. This is 8 feet long. These are a little bit tricky, I'll be honest with you. You have to find the right power station. You have to have, at least in my experience, a 100-watt output power delivery port on your power station to make this work. I can only find 8-foot length of this cable, and I'm afraid anything longer than that, you're gonna have too much of a voltage drop to run that Starlink. That Starlink requires at least 12 volts. Once it goes below that, it goes in and out, and it will not maintain connectivity. So I've had luck with this 8-foot USB-C to 5521 running straight off of one of my Blue Eddy power stations that have a 100-watt output power delivery port. But you know, some of these power stations have 20-watt outputs, 45-watt outputs. That's not enough. At least 100-watt output. So I've got 2 of these in here, and I just put my 50-foot cable on top of those. And as far as mounts go, there are 1,000 different ways to mount this thing, other than if I'm going to use my tripod adapter. So RAM mounts makes lots of neat ways to mount this thing. And let me just pull out all the different ones that I have here. Some of them. Oh, and another cable that I keep is it's kind of wound up pretty tight, but it's a 12-volt cigarette style plug-in adapter to a 5521. This is what I use when I connect my Starlink to my actual 12-volt standalone 100 amp hour LiPo4 battery. I've got a connection on my battery. It's a NOCO connection, and you know what? Let me just show you. Instead of just talking, this is the battery that I've used to run that Starlink. And this is a 12-volt female style cigarette adapter, and it just has 2 ring terminals that I attach directly to my battery. And then I plug this end into here, and then the 5521 goes directly into my Starlink. I have had that work. That's actually how I did one of my live streams a couple weeks ago, and it worked. But again, that's only about a 10-foot cable, so I didn't have to worry too much about voltage drop. I think if you had a 24-volt standalone battery, it would work perfectly because it's going to obviously put out more voltage, and you're not going to go below that 12 volts that thing has to have to run. But as far as all the RAM mounts that I got, what you have to use for these RAM mounts is, again, this supplied back plate that right now, again, I have the tripod adapter in. But if you take this tripod adapter out, you can see here I drilled a 1/4-inch hole right there in the base of this little mount here. And the way that works is, say they have this RAM mount. It's a 1-inch ball to a T-style T-track bolt on the end. And you can unplug or unscrew it just like this. And you're going to push this T-bolt through that 1/4-inch hole. Just like that. And then you can tighten down, say, this little adapter right here from RAM. And then install this to the Starlink. Put that to the side. And now you've got this adapter with the 1-inch RAM mount. And the way that you can mount these things are really infinite. RAM, they have these little connectors like this that you can attach to this ball. And you can use this clamp on the other end of this little arm. Open this clamp up, and now you can attach this clamp to anything and obviously rotate this to the right angle. And you can, you know, if there's a tree branch, your ladder rack on your truck, on your tent, whatever, you can attach it and tighten down that clamp and have this pointed in the right direction. So there's one option. Another option that I have another 1-inch ball with a T-bolt. I can put this on the T-tracks on the side of my rooftop tent and have this ball sticking out the side of my tent, then take this arm, attach to here, and then take the other end of this arm and attach to this that's gonna be stuck to my tent. So this will, in theory, be right on the side of my tent now. And I'll be able to angle it if I have enough room. If I'm facing north, you know, this is another option. And the last thing that I carry is an actual suction mount with, again, that 1-inch ball. So you can stick this to the window, you can stick it to the side of an RV, you can stick it to anything flat that's not porous. And it's gonna stick there. It's got a little, you rotate this dial and it sucks to it. You're not gonna pull it off. So I keep that in my little kit as well. But there's, you know, use your imagination with how you wanna mount these. I think that the way that I'm going to end up mounting or using this thing the most is with this tripod adapter, simply because I have at least 2 tripods with me all the time, and this is just going to be an easy way to set up a tripod, get an Arca Swiss plate, quick release camera plate on this thing, attach it to my tripod, and you're good to go. You don't really have to mess with any of these other style mounts. And I kind of alluded to the fact I was going to kind of go over some of these different mounting options that I use with the Starlink, and here you go. And I'm sure there's many more different ways, different mounting options that you can use, but these seem to be kind of cover the gamut of what I would ever need to run my Starlink. And of course, you can always just put this thing on the ground with this plate that it comes with also. It's just got a little kickstand on it. So you can put it on the ground if you want to, and you don't have to go through any of this stuff. But I wanted to show you the Pelican 1520 case. The foam inserts, they're pick and pluck foam, so you can kind of pick around whatever shape that you want. and everything just fits fine. It is heavy, but that's a good thing because that means it's gonna protect all of these goodies because this stuff is not cheap. And I want it to be as protected as much as possible. So I'm gonna get all this stuff put back where it belongs. Get my piece put back in there. Get that back in, and we are safe and secure. There you go. There's a lot of different sizes Pelican cases. They make one a little bit smaller, but you're not gonna have room to store any of the other stuff. It's literally just gonna be the Starlink Mini 2 dish, but I like this size because you can put extra stuff in it, like the cables, the mounts that I have. So this style worked out pretty well for me. But anyway, gang, just a quick, short little Sunday morning video of my Starlink Mini 2 storage option. So gang, we'll see you soon on the next camping adventure. But in the meantime, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you soon.